So today, after this very short introduction, we will go into the best practices of process improvement, how to discover the processes, how to find the root causes, how to reduce the bottlenecks and implement changes. And it's all related to the BPM, business process management methodologies. And then we're going to have a live demo in the end, and there's time reserved for the Q&A. So let's stay in touch, and please write the comments to the checkbox. I'm happy to answer them while we go. Okay, just a couple of words about QPR. So we are a stock listed company in Nasdaq Helsinki, and we have sold process mining for more than 1 million licenses. We have more than 2,000 customers and supporting more than 50 countries. So the Gartner and other analysts are recognizing QPR, and then we have done a lot of process mining projects during all these now more than 10 years. And we are very happy to provide the technology for your process mining initiatives and uses. And here, the topics for today, we are going to talk about 4 different viewpoints into process improvement. The Deming cycle, then the BPM, business process management life cycle, then about the stakeholders for process improvement, and then about process excellence and some KPIs. And then in the demo, product demo after that, I'm happy to demonstrate how to discover the as-is processes, how to do benchmarking, harmonization with process mining tool, how to find the root cause analysis, and how to do the conformance analysis with the QPR process analyzer. So all this in let's say 26 minutes. Let's see how I managed to do it today. So first of all, the Deming cycle. It starts at the PDCA, so it starts from the plan, do, check, and then act. So it's the ideology behind the Deming cycle is that there's a certain way how you should improve your operations and your processes. And since this webinar is about process improvement, I was very happy to pick this as my first topic. So it starts from planning. So in order to plan, I mean, the point in process improvement is obviously always to improve the processes. So if you have already ideal processes, if there's no problems whatsoever in your organization, then of course there's no room for improvement. So so you need to have some problems in the current operations, or then you need to have some goal objective to be better than you are today, and that then becomes your gap between the current and the desired level of the operations. So process improvement is only kind of meaningful when you have this gap. You are here and you want to be on a higher level. You want to be somehow better. And now the whole story starts from the planning phase. So where you analyze the problem. So you analyze the gap. What is the gap between where you want to be and where you are at the moment? And process mining, as we shall see, is the perfect tool for analyzing your current business operations, since it reads all the data from the ERP systems and provides you the process analysis, flow charts, KPI measures, everything based on the facts. So first you analyze the problem, analyze your process, and then you identify the root causes for the problems. So step number 1, analyze and see the gap. Now find what is causing this gap, why there are these problems existing this much. If you have 1 million sales orders coming per year, maybe 13,000 out of those are problematic. So what is the root cause behind the problematic? And that you can do with the process mining. And then once you find that, then you plan the improvement. How are you going to address that problem so that you can get it removed? So this is the planning stage. And this Process mining helps a lot in that stage. Then you go to the next stage, which is do. So you implement the change first in a small scale, according to this Deming cycle theory. So you make a change in your business operations, and once you make a change, then you check what was the effect of your change. Like if you make a training program, if here you find out that people just don't know how they are supposed to do it while they get the orders in. Now you make a training program, and then you check, is the training program effective? So you study the results, you identify the issue. So even with the training program, the process may still fail somewhere, or maybe only part of the problem went away, but the other part is still left there. So you check how it works based on this smaller scale change, and then depending on the result, if it works okay, then you standardize your solution. So give the training to everybody, or if it's like a robotic process automation, then you deploy the robotic process automation to the whole organization. So you standardize the solution and monitor continuously. So this is a Deming cycle, and the nice part here is that process mining is a key ingredient in all of these planning, plan steps, and check and act. So process mining should be the sort of the #1 fact-based tool to be used for process improvement when you are planning the situation, the problem, the improvement, and then you do the improvement with something else, for example, robotic process automation or training program. And then again, you use the process mining to check the results. And if the results are promising, then you standardize the solution, monitor continuously. And again, process mining is the way to build the monitoring into the detail level of the actual activities. So Deming cycle together with the process mining works really well. Let's move on. The next viewpoint was a little bit bigger theory in the business process management. So this is a tested and proven way to achieve, as we say, efficient business operations. And there are a couple of additional steps. So first of all, the process identification. So Deming cycle didn't talk about like what the process is, but here we make the comment that a organization consists, the operations, they consist about processes, and it's important that you think about what are the end-to-end processes that deliver the value to the end customers. And typically there is this order to cash process, which is taking the customer orders in and then delivering the goods, then sending the invoice and then getting the money. So order to cash is a very long process over there. Then you have the purchase to pay, where the organization is buying services and other products to fulfill the customer orders and also to improve themselves. So purchase to pay process. But you have a lot of HR, human resources processes, there's logistics processes, and plant maintenance, customer care, tickets, IT processes. So the process identification means that you think about your operations in terms of the processes. So think about the long end-to-end processes. And then when you have built an understanding that, okay, in my organization, we have these 10 key processes, for example, then you do the process discovery. And again, process mining is the tool today to make the process discovery. That gives you the as-is process model. And with the as-is process model, you see how the process in reality is executed in your organization, and you see all the variations for the different organization units, divisions, product groups, customer groups, and so on. So you do the process analysis of that as-is. And then that gives you the insight on the weaknesses and what is the real impact of those guys. And then you have the process redesign, process implementation. So the BPM sort of theory is a bit more bigger changes. So you redesign the process and then you do the implementation. And then you want to see that whether your new process that you have redesigned, whether that has been taken into use. So you analyze the conformance of the actual as-is operations with this design mode. And this is done in this process monitoring part. So you have the deployed process model, and then you see the conformance of whether the operations really are fulfilling that design that we made. So this is the BPM lifecycle approach, and the process mining, as we see over here, is a very very good tool and methodology to support the business process management. Okay, moving to the topic number 3, process improvement stakeholders. So it's obviously always really important to think that who is involved in process improvement, and what can we offer to those people and to those groups. So let's say that obviously in every organization we have the executive management team, and it's always a good question that is there something that we can give to the executive management team level? And even though, let's say, the very top level managers may be, or the executive may be seen as a distant characters who are just making a very big decisions, they have a lot of understanding also to the details. So they would understand the details if somebody would be able to show them how things actually go. So process mining is a way to also show to the management executive level in terms of the process flow charts that this is the fact-based understanding of how operations go at the moment, and this is a design how we would want the processes to go. And you can easily spot that, okay, there is some flow that we are supposed to do the quality check, but only 60% of the cases we do quality check and 40% we don't do the quality check. In a picture like that, it's a very strong message to the executive management team side as well. So flowcharts, KPIs can be used over here as well. Now, who is running the process improvement? In larger organizations, it's always a BPM center of excellence. So it's the methodology experts who know how to use those Deming cycles, BPM life cycles, and then know how to use the process mining. So these people have the understanding of the methodology. Of course, if it's a smaller organization, you may not necessarily have the BPM center in-house, so it may be outsourced to some consulting expertise company, or even a company like a QPR in certain situations, although QPR is a software vendor primarily. So, but our partners are doing that, the consulting partners. So BPM Center of Excellence is helping the whole organization to use the tools and methodologies in order to support the process improvement. And then part of the BPM Center of Excellence, there are the process analysts, who are the trained people who can understand the as-is situation, identify the problems, make the root cause analysis, and give some suggestions how to improve. So those are the process analysts, really heavy users for the tools and methodologies. Now, somewhere between the business and BPM development people are the process owners. So in some organizations, the process owners are the business people who are in charge of the actual operations, and in some situations they come from the development sort of people, but they are typically located in the business side, and they are responsible for the end-to-end processes like order to cash, purchase to pay, and also how the different business functions silos like sales, logistics, customer support, production, you need R&D, how these functions work together and collaborate. And of course, this extends outside the organization boundaries to the outsourced business processes. So you have a service centers and you may have outsourced your IT to another vendor, and they are doing business also from other country as well. And so process owners look at the end-to-end process, and process mining is very good tool for the process owners to understand the long end-to-end chain. And then we have the process participants who obviously want to do their best, and it's really good that they understand the effect of their own activity. So if they do something, what is the outcome of that? And that's something that process mining gives to everybody with visibility. That statistically speaking, if we go there, if we do these activities, then the result may be these. And then as a backbone, we have the system engineers and the robotic process automation experts who are implementing the changes in the IT systems and increase the automation. So they are the ones to do the technical work when it comes to deploying new IT in the digital transformation, for example. They benefit from seeing the asset situation. That process mining is here. Okay, and then I think this is my last sort of a theory slide, which is the 3 steps to process excellence. So in QPR, we have had this more than 400 projects, and we have come to understand that for every process, it would be really good to have these 3 viewpoints to the 3 KPIs to the for each process. So for each process, let's take an order to cash as an example. For each process, we should make sure that the customer of the process is getting what they actually want. Like in terms of the Amazon selling, let's say, some goods from their web store, Amazon wants to keep the customer promise, so they want to make an on-time, in full delivery. They want to deliver the products in time, together with a correct invoice. So this is the customer promise, building the customer satisfaction. Did we manage to keep our promise? It applies to all the processes. Purchasing, somebody wants the goods in time. Customer care, their service level agreements. Did we keep the promise of the promise? That's the customer point. Then the happy flow. That is about, did we follow the agreed process? So whenever your organization gets a customer order, there are certain steps that you want to do. Check that the customer credit status is okay. Check that that you have the products that were ordered, and that you can actually give the delivery time and estimate that is accurate. So you want to do the first time right. So you want to do the happy flow in a way that it's processed as it should be. If you go to the hospital, you want to be first time right. You want them to do the right things in the right order, and not like some random things and doing operations again and again and again and again. So you want it to be the first time right. And this is the internal efficiency, like the logistics. You want the goods to be delivered with the most suitable delivery method, not delivered by airplane in the last minute or with a taxi. So happy flow is about the internal efficiency. So we have the customer satisfaction and the internal efficiency. And now in the recent years, the automation has become the third key performance indicator. So we want to measure how many of the individual steps in the whole end-to-end process are automated. So actually we want to measure the opposite, like how many manual steps there are left in this end-to-end process. imagine, for example, the money transfer in the modern banking environments. You don't want there to be any manual steps in the money transfer process. But then, of course, in many processes like the hospital, it's important to have the manual steps, but still you want to reduce the manual. So you have the automation rates and no touch order. So for each process, we encourage you to create these 3 KPIs. Is the customer happy? Is in general efficiency in place? And do you have the automation implemented? And putting these 3 together gives you the process excellence measure. Perfect order measure is the one that fulfills all these diagrams. Okay, and this we can do with the process mining, and I'm happy to show you how to do. So let's jump into the demo of QPR Process Analyzer. There we go. Let me see. Yes, systems are up and running. So here we see the process analyzer, discovery, performance checking, clustering, UPMN, or all kind of possibilities. And let me start with this process discovery part. So we have a SAP order to cash process over here. And one interesting thing in process mining is that you can always have less detail or more detail. Like we can see that the process looks like this. So you get a customer purchase order, first date, and then the sales order item is created. So sales order, so the item is created to your ERP system, and then the delivery is created. That could be the order to cash process in a very small scale. But after the delivery is created, you actually create the shipment. So there will be a shipment. And again, after the shipment, there will be an invoice. So I can add more details into this illustration. So now we see that in 91% there's also goods issues in the deliveries. And then going into more details, we see that the due dates are there. And then here we start to see that, okay, the sales orders are being changed. So 17% of the cases, the sales order is being changed on medium 1 day, 3 hours after it has been created. And then the billing blocks are being deactivated in 10% of the cases, 9,577. And then it goes to the delivery. So with process mining, you get the overview picture with all the details. And you can go into the very detailed levels. You see the durations over here, and you can actually check the actual amounts that are going in the flows, and you can see the durations over here. And you can also see the costs. So let's say that the average value of item going through the sales order item created 7,660, whereas the delivery blocks are deactivated for the average value of 8,100. So you see some information of what kind of cases go into which places based on their monetary value. Okay, so let's see here. And now part of the discovery that we have over here is that you can also see like the events. This is event type analysis. So you see that, for example, here that in this case we have 91,746 cases. So all of the cases go through these 2 event types. But then there's like an invoice created. So only 83,000 cases actually are connected to invoice, but a total amount of invoices is 121,000. So you have on average 1.5 events per case whenever there is at least one. So so there are more of those invoices than there are the cases. So you see this kind of information. And then if you have some interesting thing here, for example, the billing block is being deactivated. We have it over here. So we can say that show me the root causes, like if the billing block is deactivated, is there some other things also happen. And I just think that case is going through the building block deactivated to be a root cause criteria. So now we see with the red color that, okay, if the building block is deactivated, there's more of these sales order item changes. So manual price and net price is changed in 17% and 57% of the cases, whereas if the case doesn't go to the building block, then you have 4% and 12%, substantially less. So you see that the cases that go to this red box are also likely to go to these red boxes, whereas they are not that likely to go to the invoice clearing. So only 57% go to the invoice clearing, whereas on the other half, 74%. And the same goes, yeah. So you see that you see a correlation and a root cause, what may be causing this particular block. So in this set, we see that these things may be causing. On the other hand, you can start to think that this manual price, if the sales order item changes, it goes to the manual price, what might be the effect of that? So you can put this to be the root cause condition, and then you see that, okay, if the manual price is being checked, then you see that, okay, net price is also likely to be checked, and the delivery block deactivation, building block deactivation is likely to happen. But in the end, they look quite the same, but the invoice clearing is less likely, 62 against 70. So you see these root causes calculated already from the event type. Other important stuff that you see here is obviously the understanding of what kind of cases you have. So we can see that, okay, you have these particular business areas, power tools, safety equipment, agriculture. And if you want to see how the agriculture is different than the others, you can again click this to be the root cause. And here we see that in agriculture, the net price is being changed a bit more often than on average because of the red color and 23% over there. Okay, and then the case duration. So this is now showing you the standard duration over here, and we see that most of the cases are done less than 35 weeks, but there's this long tail. So we can actually check that, all right, if we select these long-lasting cases, and again put to the root cause analysis, we can see that the long-lasting cases are likely to go to the invoice clearing, 98%, and other activities, other red activities as well over here. So you can analyze the case durations. And in QPR Process Analyzer, we have a lot of different analysis possibilities. Like you can analyze a single flow over here and see that what is the duration and the distribution in the single flows. You can also analyze the variations. So we can see that the most common variation is this, and it's being displayed over here. And it has also these median times, how much time it takes. This could be seen as the standard process. And then if you take like two variations, then we start to see that there is a little bit difference in the invoice due date and the clearing. One is happening before the other one. This is the way you can extend the analysis to include more cases, to include more variations, and then the process begins to look a bit more complex. So sometimes you go skip this part and you go directly to rejection and see like that. Okay, these are the process variations, and you can also analyze the flow. Before going into the too much of the details, we can also show you a couple of other things. Let me, for example, go to the show a little bit more about the root causes. So there's another way also to look at the root causes, and this is This is possible, for example, if you have here in the flow chart, like you have this rejection. So you can click on the rejection and say that, okay, what is the typical characteristics of those cases that go to the rejection? So now you see in the root cause analysis that the typical is that the goods are not issued in 68%, sorry, in 47, and the customer cancellation is a typical reason, and no production capacity. And the business area agriculture has more of the rejections than the other. So you can select anything in the analysis and see the root causes for those. Okay, this was something basic. Sorry, from the process mining core capabilities. Then another thing I wanted to show is the dashboards. So the process mining dashboards look like this. So taking everything that we were checking together, you can get them here and see that how the process looks like, and you can have the trends and the flow chart, sorry, the chart components over here. So we build these ready-made dashboards, and these are part of the QPR ready-made applications. So for the process improvement, for example, the on-time delivery, your monitoring of the on-time delivery might look like this. You see the KPI on-time delivery, yes and no. Okay, so if you want to see what is the root causes behind the on-time delivery failing, here is the kind of the on-time delivery rate on the monthly trend chart. Here is the on-time delivery rate on the for the different organization company codes. And then when you go to the even more detailed analysis, you see the root cause analysis that Germany is the most likely place, is the most problematic place when it comes to the on-time delivery failing. So 42% are failing there. And then you can see the late deliveries, list of the late deliveries cases. So this is just some illustrations on how process mining works in reality. And as you can see, there are many other analysis that you can do for the lead times, for the robotic process automation, for example, the next automation area, how to select the next activity that your robotic process automation people should consider improving. So there are tools for that as well. And then what I also wanted to show here is the conformance analysis. So conformance analysis is about having a design model and then the as-is process model. And here we can check this design model. So in this illustration, the design model looks like this. So QPR process analyzer has the process designer part here as well. And then we see that that in this design, 32% of the cases conform with the design. And again, you can see the design trend, and you can see the conformance based on the company codes. And again, more detailed analysis of where the problems are and how you can then harmonize your processes and your business operations with the design. Okay, this is pretty much what I wanted to show you today.